Welcome to Deal. Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in Defeating the Curse. I don't know, what is it? We're past the divisional round now, so it's the NFL
Championship week. It's championship. Get your weeks right. It's championship week.
Oh, I'm distracted by this Nancy Mace person that's all over my screen because of you. Yeah, for those that were not in the green room, Stevie opened the show by giving us a bunch of names to Google really quickly, and
We were talking about VPs. Don't act like we were like.
you think she's a VP potential? You think she's a VP potential?
I think she'd be a beautiful VP.
I think she has an IMDb account, and it says that she's married to Curtis Jackson. So whoever's not talking, if we can maybe do a little Googling here. I need to learn a little bit more about this individual while we proceed. But Stevie, I guess there's a whole bunch of stuff I have for you. Do you want to talk UFC here for like 10 seconds at the beginning?
My God. It's championship week, Joe.
Championship week.
Be a man.
You can't talk about anything. I don't want to hear about Joel Embiid scoring 70.
Yeah, you do.
I don't want to hear about UFC.
Prepare
I
yourself.
want to talk about football.
Prepare
Thank
yourself
you,
for
Razzle.
some
Thank
NBA
you.
talk, okay? Because it was the anniversary of Kobe's 81-point game, which Stevie 100 years ago recorded for me and then burned to a DVD, which I still have actually off of his TiVo, right? So Kobe forever, Mamba mentality. Anyway,
Really quick. Nobody cares that it was the anniversary because Joel Embiid didn't meet or surpass the record. So why are we tying it to Kobe?
because
Who cares?
the NBA needs Kobe involved to make people care. Nobody cares about the NBA. Is this news to you? It's not
Random all-star NBA player almost kind of sort of gets near Kobe Bryant's record on
news.
the
70 points. 70 points is a lot of points. But
Not
Strickland
that.
also completely crapped the bed. On
Did we finish the beta talk for the NBA? Can we get to the alpha male
Yes,
talk?
let's
Sure, go
get to the Ravens, baby.
Go ahead. Let's throw it over to Razzie for the alpha male talk.
He wants to
What are
talk
we gonna
football.
start with? We wanna talk-
I mean, look, do you not want to talk about Strickland losing after all of the?
Well, I'm not sure he lost. I mean, it was Dana White even said that he didn't lose. Stayed up till 2 a.m. watching it.
Why are these things
Congratulations.
so late? I got to be honest. Like it's too late. Why is it so late? Why is everything so late? I need things
The
to
West
start.
Coast. They got appeal to the West
Yeah.
Coast. So
Well,
you-
this one was in Toronto, so it was East Coast time. But
why can't
most of them are in
I'm
Vegas.
saying they're appealing to the
Let's just
West
start at a
Coast,
normal time.
and they didn't want to compete with the Packers 49ers.
And don't have a card on the same weekend. Then, like I don't know. What
That's
to
a
tell you.
good point. Nobody should compete with the NFL. I don't know if anyone saw the numbers for the
That was
Chiefs
the
Bills
first story I
this
wanted to
weekend.
talk about. 50 million viewers. 50 million viewers. And
I mean, the NFL couldn't ask for anything else. They got Jason Kelsey shirtless in the same suite with Taylor Swift at 6:30.
yeah, I'm okay with it. I know people were wrecking Jason Kelsey.
No, it was great. It was
Listen,
fantastic.
It's his brother and his, I mean, whatever, future
I'm saying
sister-in-law
this is
or
a dream
whatever.
scenario. That's why when you're going to be making picks for this week, you can't pick away from the Chiefs because the NFL wants the Chiefs and Taylor Swift and the whole Kelsey and the Super Bowl.
Yo, we're not media moguls here. Okay, can we talk about football? What are we talking about?
But 50 million. No, but the number matters here. I mean, you're talking about 5x the NBA Finals. If 5x the World Series, 50 million is a lot of eyeballs.
But you're also talking 50 million in the dead of winter where half the country's covered in snow and there's nothing to do and everybo's
I hate
coming
that
back
I'm
from
even going to ask
holidays.
this question. I hate that I'm even going to ask it, but how many of those eyeballs are there because of Taylor Swift?
A lot.
A lot.
5%, 10%.
I don't know, but she
10%
brought
is
a
5
brand
million.
new fan
Also,
base to the NFL. That's why every time Isaiah Pacheco runs for 12 yards, you see her reaction to it. You know,
I don't understand
know-
the science behind a Swiftie. Who cares that she's there? She's not singing.
Well, I mean,
This-
the
this
NFL
is a good
cares.
opportunity.
The NFL cares because if the Chiefs end up in the Super Bowl, the ad cost only goes up a lot.
Yep.
This is a good opportunity. I was on X the other day, okay, and
nothing
I
good starts
saw-
with that phrase.
a highlight reel of I think it was 83 or 87. It was the Redskins at RFK chanting the fans chanting "We want Dallas." Dallas coming in. It must have been 82 or whatever. And it was Dexter Manley tipping the ball, the guy getting the interception, scoring a touchdown. And it just reminded me that life has been ruined by society. Okay. Everything about life is worse today than it was 30 years ago. The idea, I mean, you look at the stands.
40 years.
The only thing we get videos of now are fans fighting in the bathroom. These guys getting bloodied. Okay. These drunk people, Bills fans jumping on tables that are on fire. Everything about life, sports, fandom, everything is worse today than it was. Our children will never have that.
That's because you're living it right now.
Screaming and start talking about football, and then we're talking about media.
Stevie went from 35 to 70.
I'll bring it full circle for you. In 20 years, when you look at the highlights of this game, it's going to be Bills fans chanting, "We want Kansas, we want Kansas." They finally got the Chiefs at home, and then the Bills shit the bed in the most epic of ways. Right, the Super Bowl window is over for them.
No,
right? Diggs is overrated.
No,
drop the
not,
ball. Allen
isn't
isn't doing anything. They are the San Diego Chargers of the Peyton and Brady era. What does that mean? They are the not significant team.
So Brady, Mahomes is Brady, and who is Manning then? If you're saying
Joe Burrow's Manning and Josh Allen and Philip Rivers.
Honestly, it could be Lamar after this week.
We'll see.
But I think Josh Allen is your prime time Philip Rivers. I think he's a really, really good quarterback, really solid team. They do nothing.
Well, based on the cap hit, Razzie, I'll get you in here in a second. But based on the cap hit, I actually tend to agree with you. His numbers going from 18 million to 42 million, which means that team will not look the same. That team won't look the same, and you could see the agony on the fans' faces. And I know a lot of people are going to blame the kicker. I don't think that Romo called it, and it was Romo's super annoying, by the way, on the broadcast. Sometimes I love him.
No, he's the worst one. He was the worst one.
He nailed the call on the. He had Allen had Diggs on a shallow cross to get the first down. He was targeting what's his face in the end zone. The ball was
touchdown. It was wide open. He got hit right before he threw it.
But that was the game, and Romo actually perfectly called it. He perfectly called it.
Yeah.
So
Joe, listen to Razzle. He's saying you're wrong.
Why?
No. He made the right throw. He just got hit right before he threw it. That was they had to be
the right throw. Is build the clock and keep going down the field.
The one that gets you the first down, so you stay on the field is the right throw, and that's
he went for hero ball when they didn't need to do it at that time.
He was open. He had a touchdown.
Okay, but it was wide open. He made a perfect throw. He just got bumped right before.
So Razzie, you're blaming the kicker.
Put on Josh Allen.
You're blaming the kicker.
Can we go to the?
Let Razzle talk. He is making sense for once.
I mean, I can't hear him.
Let me make.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I was kidding.
Oh, okay. That throw to Stephon Diggs down the right sideline,
65 yards.
That was the most beautiful throw I've seen in a long time. It was right on the money. Stephon Diggs is still standing on the field from 3 years ago, watching the Chiefs celebrate. It hasn't done anything since.
But he didn't do
it right in that game. It cannot be put on Josh Allen.
He pulled him hard.
He could have made a couple plays here and there, but Josh Allen played a beautiful game, and he's going against if you want to go back to basketball references, Mahomes is Jordan. Mahomes is the Jordan of yes.
Somebody mute Joe.
Back it up, Razzle. I had you. I was with you, Razzle.
Somebody mute Razzle. Let's hear the end of this. How is he Jordan, Razzie? How is he Jordan?
Because he's elevating the play of everybody else on the Chiefs team.
There you go, FP. There you go.
I see where you're going with it.
Jordan,
but I think more
greatest to ever play the position. He's the greatest football player ever.
He will be. Not now, but we're watching Jordan in the early 90s going through his first championship window.
The blame should
Mahomes
go on
6 seasons, 6 AFC championships.
Wait a second. Okay, let me correct Razzle. Okay. The MVP of Sunday's game was
Pat Mahomes.
Isaiah Pacheco. Josh Allen did everything he could to win that game. Josh Allen won that game for Buffalo and put them in the spot to win the game. Football, wins and losses in football cannot be put on a singular player. That I don't know why that lesson is lost on three other intelligent people. Okay. Patrick Mahomes did not outplay Josh Allen. Okay. Josh Allen, that throw to Stephon Diggs was perfect. That read in the end zone. If Chris Jones doesn't bump him, like Razzle says, that's a touchdown. So we got to get off of that, okay? Patrick Mahomes played a decent game, but at the end of the day, Josh Allen did enough for them to win. They just choked. A kicker missing a kick is enough to lose you a game. That has nothing to do with Josh Allen.
But that's putting it on one player, right? But you have to go back even further. The defense allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to move up and down the field.
Yes.
And you had the shell of Travis Kelce come to life. Travis Kelce hadn't done anything for the last 6 weeks. And he came to life, and all of a sudden
kicker wasn't responsible for Pacheco averaging 6 yards a carry.
What was the final score?
Yeah, it came okay. Yeah, from a points perspective, I'm just saying you watched.
No, I'm actually asking. I don't know.
Did you watch the game?
27.
Were you not part of the 50+ million who watched the game?
27-24 was the final score.
He doesn't pay attention when Taylor's off TV.
I'm saying 27 points. I guess that's a lot. Defense did enough.
Defense did nothing.
No, hold on, Stevie. I got to disagree with you two here. Like this was the Chiefs' best offensive game of the entire season. This was the best they looked the entire season. So I've been catching a lot of heat because I was put on the spot, I don't know, like a month ago about Pat Mahomes. Is he elite? And I said, no. I said, like, I haven't seen enough. And everyone jumped down my throat. I think I have to revise that position given just how he's played, I think he is elite. Like I think I have to kind of, eat the dog food on that one and just say, yeah, I'm wrong.
I don't know who's fighting you saying he's not elite. By the numbers, yes, he's elite.
I was the one saying he's not elite. That was my position.
He's not Jordan Razzle greatest of all time.
Yeah, I don't believe he's reinvented.
He will be.
Position.
He will be.
6 for 6 in this one without. I think this is where Eric.
Every year he's been the starting quarterback. He's been in the AFC Championship. He lost one.
Yes,
he lost one because of D4 being offsides. He lost the other one because he got concussed in the first half and lost to the Bengals.
You know who else did that is Donovan F. McNabb. Okay, come on, Razzle.
I don't know if he's the greatest ever. I think he's still got.
He will be. I'm not
maybe now.
I'm sorry. Are we gonna? Are we just gonna bypass Sean McDermott pulling a fake punt, making sure everyone know Damar Hamlin's not dead?
Threw the game away.
Terrible call.
Is that just to prove he's not dead?
They ended up getting the ball back. That was a stupid play. But they had 10 men on the field.
You must be the most frustrating person to watch a football game with. Like, there's no consequences to anything. Like, they got it back 10 seconds.
The defense
Josh made the right read in the end zone. No, sometimes there's multiple right.
Josh Allen ended up. I'm saying that the Bills ended up getting the ball back on that stupid McCall Hardman play. After that,
worst rule in football. Worst rule in football.
Sure. The consequence of that, the defense was able to get it back.
I don't know.
Or loosey goosey with the ball in the red zone.
Yeah, FP.
Why do you get a safety call for it?
You're gonna die on the hill that you have to protect the ball.
Yes.
Scoring zone, get over the line.
Yes.
I'm gonna die on the hill that in any other part of the field, when you fumble the ball and you push it out of bounds, it penalize them 10 yards. Penalize, but you can't just give the other team the ball. I don't understand.
Any other part of the field is not the red zone, Joe. It's not the end zone. It's not where points come from. You have to create a rule to keep it fair.
Full disclosure, I didn't realize that fair catches in outside of the end zone automatically moved the ball 25 yards. I had no idea that was a thing until I saw it. But I also don't understand why. I don't know. Some of the clock management still. Just
that's where Sean McDermott struggles, and that's why there's rumors of Bill Belichick wanting to go to Buffalo.
The Bills haven't come out and said he's guaranteed to come back. Do we think there's something? You think he's safe?
Only for Bill. You would only make that move for Bill Belichick. That's going to elevate your team to the next level. Other than that,
is Josh Allen the guy for them? Because
absolutely,
huge number,
100%. He makes plays all the time.
He feels a little Kirky to me. I got to be honest. He doesn't have a ton of talent around him. He's made it work.
Yeah, Gabe Davis has been hurt. He's got new receivers.
Yeah, but those guys can't come back. The cap is not in their favor.
They can get rid of Stephon Diggs because clearly he can't catch the ball.
Getting rid of Diggs is definitely the offseason move. And then we'll have an entire episode about where he should go. And
he should come home. Bring him here.
He's not coming.
I'll say this without any actual knowledge or facts is
I love these statements.
Josh Allen, most complete quarterback in the NFL.
Second.
Lamar's a better runner. Mahomes probably a better thrower, better arm. Josh Allen, most complete.
I don't know. I think Lamar has a better arm too.
Josh
Oh
Allen
my
Josh
gosh.
Allen makes a
Up
lot
here,
of
though.
bad
Up here.
reads.
Up here.
He makes a lot of bad-
Can we start
What do you mean
moving
up here?
forward to this week so we can kill all the Ravens talk and talk about the Chiefs?
I mean, we can. I mean, Steve, I
Look,
think I don't know. Josh Allen has a lot of bonehead plays. A lot.
What do you mean kill all the Ravens stock? I said it last week, and I'm going to say it this week. People keep forgetting that they are the 1 seed, and they are a dominant team, and they're putting ass whoopings on all the other teams that they have faced.
Well, FP, what do you think happens? Obviously, they steamrolled the Texans. I mean, I don't think anyone had the Texans winning.
They steamrolled them in the second half. It was 10-10 at halftime, and the Texans were getting to Lamar. And they made the adjustments. Yeah. I'm going to give them credit, FP. They made the adjustments at halftime, and it was a completely different game in the second half. I'll give the Ravens that. But the first half, it should have been 13-10, but the kicker missed the kick. Granted, they stopped. The defense didn't allow the Texans to score more than 3 points.
Listen, when you're top dog, when you're the number 1 seed, and you have a bye week, it's going to take you a half to shake off the rust.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Both teams looked rusty.
They shook off the rust. They came out, and then they completely reestablished why they're the 1 seed. I mean, it's just when you look at the Chiefs versus the Ravens, that Ravens defense, you're gonna see why people were questioning the Chiefs all season long. Like, I believe, yes, there is something to the Andy Reid, Mahomes postseason magic that they have. There is something there, but you're gonna see why all season long, like the Chiefs weren't. They're the defending champs, but all season nobody was afraid of the Chiefs, right? Nobody was worried that they were going to play their best. You had Sirianni running through the tunnel that they upset the Chiefs. That's because nobody knew what Chiefs team it was that they were playing, right? So for the Eagles to do that of all teams,
FP looking forward, I think
Sirianni's coming back. By the way, I know we talked about this last week. With
DC Ron Rivera.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second here. But well, FP, did you want the Chiefs to move forward? I mean, did you want Chiefs at Ravens, or did you want to see Bills at Ravens?
No, I wanted to see Bills at Ravens because there's a part of me that really wanted to see a Bills-Lions Super Bowl, because I don't think anybody in the country is mad if either one of those teams win. Just historically.
Roger Goodell would be mad when those two teams are in it.
No,
nobody cares about Roger.
I mean, it's the Lions are well, we'll talk about them in a second. But we're gonna get Chiefs at Ravens. Is anyone bold enough to take the Chiefs in this one?
Right here. I already put money on them plus 3.5. We'll be taking them on the money line and maybe taking a little bit, buying a little bit more points. I'm all in.
What do you see, Razzle?
It is the best defense the Chiefs
He's trying not to say Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be Taylor Swift.
Look, I'm not gonna say the NFL wants Taylor in the Super Bowl. I already made that point. The combination of Andy Reid,
I think they still hope that she'll jump out of the booth and join Usher on stage. But
this is the best defense the Chiefs have had during the Mahomes era. They are clicking, and you saw the offense put a lot of nice plays together and a nice game plan together. I don't trust Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. I don't trust him.
He already did it. He already did one.
That sounded like me trying to explain away something I have no idea about.
I'm telling you.
There's no actual information.
This is Razzle giving a book report without reading the book.
Yeah, he's on the first page still, like LeBron. I would rather you just say I got a tingle and just leave it at that than like.
I'm not going to pick against Mahomes.
Okay.
I'm not going to pick against Mahomes until he lets me down. How about that? I don't trust Lamar Jackson. He was missing wide open
you don't
guys.
Trust Lamar spanking every respectable.
Just a point about Lamar Jackson. I know
four touchdown passes and 2 rushing on average a game. Terrible.
The guy was missing wide open receivers just because he wanted to run the ball. Okay.
But just because he wanted to run the ball, but then it turns into a touchdown, is that terrible?
It's not terrible, but I'm just saying when it's a defense,
guy was missing first down passes because he was rushing for 40-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
Lamar really wants to stay in the clock to make that pass. That's what the line is today.
I mean, I'm excited to see that defense, because if all the talk about Mike McDonald and that young genius defensive coordinator kind of talk, if he shuts down a Patrick Mahomes playoff offense, Andy Reid offense, his stock's going to shoot up. And imagine, you get a Ravens, Lions, a young OC, hot DC, something like that would be really, really, really fun. And so I think the Ravens
questions about, do you go offensive or defensive with the lead of the team?
And doesn't matter. I mean, you're looking at John Harbaugh, who's a special teams guy, the only special teams head coach in the league. Do you just want a great leader who maybe worked under John Harbaugh for a few years, learn from him? You know, maybe you get the next Harbaugh and you don't need Jim or John.
That's very true. Yeah.
The problem when you go defense and then you pick a hot coordinator, that hot coordinator is always going to be the one who leaves when he gets a head coaching position.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Yes and no, but there's a lot of teams that have survived that because they're well-run teams.
I mean, the Ravens have survived that many times.
They've never had a hot coordinator go get a job. John Harbaugh hasn't produced that many hot coordinators. Like, look at all around. Look at the playoffs here. Okay, obviously Andy Reid loses coordinators. We saw a decline. Eric coming close to home. Eric Bieniemy left. Matt Nagy left. Doug Peterson left. All those guys left. And you saw a little bit of a
Razzle pulling up facts. Damn, Razzle.
In the offense, but it's still Andy Reid's team. You know,
I think Reid and Harbaugh belong in a different category or different caliber of coach as well. Like they are known commodities. No one's going to come in and challenge authority. No one, like they've been doing it for so long, right? Belichick belongs in that same group as well. Like these are guys that they don't need to prove it. Like they've done it.
Right? Belichick needs to prove he can do it without Brady.
I think. I mean, it looks like there's
before Brady. He sucked after Brady.
Honestly, I don't understand that move at all for him to go to the Falcons. I don't get that unless it's just a huge money grab. But like,
the Falcons roster. The Falcons roster is fantastic. They were just misused.
And they need a quarterback though. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Heineke and Desmond Ridder. Like that's not.
Speaking of not having a quarterback, the one team that we haven't talked about in the Final Four that looks like they're in trouble is the San Francisco 49ers. It looks like Kyle.
I'm not worried about Brock.
Kyle's going to need to pull a rabbit out of his hat right now.
Who's your early pick in that game?
How are you not worried about Brock, but you don't trust Lamar?
Just hold on. I want Stevie. Who's your early pick in that? I want to talk about the Packers in particular in a second, but Lions are traveling to San Francisco. Who's your early tingle?
I think that Lions defense is going to throw the kitchen sink. Dan Campbell's going to throw the kitchen sink at Purdy. I think they're a turnover machine. They can cause some turnovers from Purdy, small hands, Donald Trump, and then they can make some stuff happen. I think the Lions will pull off the upset. If Debo doesn't play, especially, they look bad.
That's the bad.
If Debo wasn't there,
he's the meat of that offense.
Yeah. FP, who's your early pick in that matchup?
I'm going Lions, and I think a lot of people underestimate just how great Goff is playing under Ben Johnson's offense. Right, the number 3 offense of the NFL season so far. They are a fantastic offense with great weapons, a very strong run game, and one of the best lines in the league. I'm not worried about Chase Young going against that Lions offensive line. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about
what are we talking about?
What?
Everyone's got their little like jabs, you know.
I gotta insult
Chase. 50
Talk about the guy.
I gotta insult Chase all the time. I hate him, and
he's rooting for the Lions
but
because he doesn't want Chase in the Super Bowl. Everything he's saying is because he doesn't want Chase in the Super Bowl.
100%. Nobody wants Chase.
Hey! My favorite player plays on the San Francisco 49ers. Okay,
I'm cheering more for Trent than I am against Chase.
No.
I don't really care.
I have such a high hate for Chase Young. He threw the franchise back 15 years.
5 years. Yeah, he cost us 5 years.
No, I would be worried about.
But you're on the lines, and Razzie, I'm assuming you're on the 49ers early.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
If it's not raining.
So if it's not raining and Debo is playing and it's
the way the offense looks with and without Debo, they're so top heavy that they're always one injury away, and I'm surprised they made it this late into the season with what they have.
Convincing yourself that you should stay
always,
on the Niners.
Injury riddled. McCaffrey can be one, hit, and he's walking back and forth on the sidelines on Sunday. The 49ers have, Kyle's going to prep. The defense of the Detroit is what I'm most worried about, and I'm going to give it to FB. I wasn't a Ben Johnson, enthusiast, but the last 2 weeks, the game plan that he's put together and the play calling that he's put together, when they were playing the Rams 2 weeks ago, and they threw the ball on second down to get that first down at the end of the game, that was a gutsy call, and I wouldn't. And I'm in on the Lions offense. I just think the Niners are this is their window. I made the point last week. The Rams, Cowboys, and Eagles all being out of the playoffs in the first round. The Niners have no reason not to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think they can go into San Francisco, win this game, right? Like I think they can do it. The Packers, I mean, frankly, the Packers almost did it, right? I mean, Jordan Love was playing with house money, receivers that nobody recognizes, a running back that most people thought was out of the league, right? And they played a very good game, right? Jordan Love, his worst 2 passes of the entire season were in the fourth quarter of that game, or maybe it was late third and fourth quarter. I mean, the Packers almost pulled that out. And if it was Packers going to Detroit, everybody's picking the Lions. I think, obviously, given the body of work with the 49ers, there's a good chance that we, there's a good chance that we could see an upset. I also wouldn't be, I don't know, like, would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if Would you really be surprised if the 49ers go out there and just crush? I mean, I don't think anybody would.
Of course not. They're the number one seed. They're number one seed for a reason. But let me make this point to piggyback off Razzle is coaching in the NFL in the playoffs matters more than at any other time and at any other sport in the 4 major professional sports in America right now. And so, right. I mean, armchair idiot coaches, wannabe coaches like the 3 of us can look at that 49ers offense without Debo and say, load the box, make Brock Purdy beat you. Do not let Christian McCaffrey beat you. And I mean, what is Aaron Glenn going to do? What is Dan Campbell going to do? You get ahead on the, you get ahead on the 49ers. You make Purdy have to throw and come from behind. That is a recipe for disaster with this Lions defense. You let Hutchinson and that defense pin their ears back and come after you. That's a recipe for a Super Bowl trip for the Detroit Lions.
I think to further that point, Dan Campbell, from the Cowboys game and even the Packers game, just sort of the loosey-goosey with the clock management and some of the risky calls that he does because he's high on the prove it grit that the Lions have, right? And he's like, I'll go for it on 4th. I'm gonna do the fake punt. I'm gonna do the whatever. He does that a lot, and if that sort of surfaces within himself against the Niners, he's probably going to get punished for it. It's probably not going to fly.
But I don't think he needs it. I don't
think so either. But I think there's part of him that just is reckless with it.
Sure, and I think they may have had more of those like gimmicky plays, FP, in the playbook for the Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers are kind of like, you don't know which Baker you're going to get. You don't know if Mike Evans is going to catch 4 balls for 4 touchdowns or if it's 4 balls for 20 yards. With the 49ers, like, the game plan is almost always the same. They're going to run McCaffrey hard. They're going to try to get him to 100 yards. They basically don't lose if he can get to 100. They're going to target, obviously, their tight end and their stud Debo. Like I don't want to say it's a vanilla offense, but you kind of know where the points are going to come from with that 49ers.
It's a highly executed smash mouth.
The Lions, for me, the X factor is going to be St. Brown, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown, like that dude plays hard. I was struggling watching the game. Like, who do you liken him to, right? Because he's got like he's not that big, but he's very tough and he always catches everything. Like, there's a little bit of Santana in him.
He's a significantly better Hines Ward.
I was going to say you could liken him to prime Stephon Diggs, what Diggs was before the extension.
He reminds me of young Santana, like across the middle, catches everything.
like a Minnesota Diggs. He's that.
Okay. I mean, he's really good. And I think the 49ers are going to struggle to guard him, given how much they struggled with the Packers and with Romeo Doubs, right? And that's not to discredit Romeo, but if Love had all day to throw and was able to keep that game competitive in the rain, I mean, and that's before you get to the running game, right? The Lions are an infinitely better run team than the Packers are, and the Packers ran at Chase all afternoon.
Yes,
they had no answer. I mean,
this is the best O-line the Niners are going to face.
Yeah, this is. I think on the AFC side, I think more people are just going to say Ravens based on home. Like, I think the teams are closer in the NFC than they are in the AFC. And maybe that's just me not being a Mahomes and a Chiefs guy, but I feel like the Lions and the 49ers were
wait.
Every week for 18 weeks, those teams were in our top 4, top 5, top 6 every single week.
But I want to get back on the NFC because I had a question for Razzle. It's not often I get to pick the brain of a football genius, okay? Razzle, I know you have a statue of Kyle Shanahan in your bedroom. Okay. If Kyle loses on Sunday night, what does he do with Purdy? What decision does he have to make? Does he run him back with Purdy? Now you're 0 for 2.
He has to run it back with Purdy.
No,
What better
calls
option? He's gone through
his
all.
buddy. No way, Razzle. He calls his
Get
buddy
it,
Adam
Joe.
Peters here in DC. He says, "Hey, what's it going to take for that second overall pick?"
He doesn't have
No,
time.
I was
he
expecting the
doesn't
other
have
Joe.
time to develop a new quarterback.
I was
His
expecting
best-
the other Joe as your answer. You
Kirk
got
Cousins.
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
I
that's the
set
best
you up,
alternative.
Razzle.
Of course.
I would go. You gotta
Okay,
give me
listen.
time to land the plane here, okay? You gotta give me time.
You got time. Joe's cutting people off. Okay, you got to
He's
jump in.
alley-oop and you got to hit the dunk quickly, Razzle. Come on.
No, you have. And if Purdy looks, imagine which Purdy you get on Sunday. If he looks terrible,
You get
and
the 6th round, last overall pick version of Purdy 99% of the time.
no,
What are you talking? He is
No,
the
no, no, no,
most
no, no.
fluffed.
No, come on.
He is honestly. Has there ever been a quarterback like Purdy that just gets everyone slurping him off constantly? What? Why does everyone assume he's that good? He's not that good.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. We did.
he was
really
in the
good at
MVP
the
conversation
round.
3 weeks ago until he
He's-
had a bad game against the Ravens. He had a bad game against the Ravens, and then everyone just basically forgot about everything else prior than
No,
that.
let's be reasonable,
We're
Razzle.
not in the same stratosphere. They're not even
Fine.
close.
If he plays
Purdy
the way he
in the-
played, if he plays the way he played on Sunday, they lose.
Yeah.
If he plays the way he played on Sunday to
missed
a
a
better
lot.
They
team,
lose. They lose. You're
They
right.
lose.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
and then what?
He's
Oh,
not
and
going
he's
to.
gotta- is he gonna wear a glove or is he not gonna wear a glove?
He's
Like,
not
is
going
it
to play
raining?
that poorly. It's not going to be raining. He's going to. They'll have a much better game plan. And
How?
can I just tell you guys that the Niners are going to win? Can I just say that the Niners are going to win? That's it.
I mean,
We're
you
on
want
the
to do a
way
little
to-
side? You want to do a little side wager?
Are you telling me you're rooting for a Niners Chiefs rematch?
That's the
so
that's
boring.
the thing.
That's
I
so
don't
boring.
want to see a Niners rematch, Niners Chiefs rematch. I don't want that, but this is what's going to happen. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
No, we saw what's going to happen. It's in the logo. The script is there.
Yeah, the script
It's
is there. There
Ravens-
you go. There was
Ravens,
some clip of
Niners,
some,
and then-
you already talked.
Hey, listen, if we see a house for sale in Vienna, Virginia on Monday morning, we know how much money Razzle put on the.
yeah.
Oh, Razzie, put it all. I mean, does anyone have any thoughts
I'm
on?
going to come to you guys for a loan. Okay, how about that?
Look, the Buccaneers may also have the key to Kyle Shanahan's offense at quarterback, right? I mean, Baker's going to get paid. Baker's played in. He had
They're
an
not letting
incredible
He's coming back to Tampa. He's not going
should.
anywhere else. Tampa
And
has
he
no
should.
choice.
He should. My point is, if the Niners lose this game, the one position that they can upgrade and need to upgrade immediately would be quarterback. They don't need anything else.
Well, did you all miss the interview that ESPN did with Purdy, where he essentially put it out there that Kyle Shanahan said, "We're going to run it back with you unless we can get Tom Brady"? That came out
I
of
saw
Purdy's.
that.
That came out of Purdy's mouth. He said, "Unless they get Tom Brady," and the Niners are going to try to convince him to come back to San Francisco
Oh, dude,
and
Brady's-
play for the team. No. I'm not saying it's going to happen
That was like
anymore.
in
But what I'm
off-season.
saying is, there is a big part of Kyle Shanahan and that Niners front offense that doesn't want Purdy. That they just know this isn't going to last forever. We need to get a real person in.
And you give Kyle a ton of credit for coaching him up and getting them to where they are. Like he deserves a ton of credit. And Purdy has earned himself at least a spot on an NFL roster. But like let's not pretend he's Joe Montana. Like and that's and all of
Well,
like,
you just
all of the numbers and the stats. He threw for 4,000 yards, and no one's done that since.
That's
Steve
the
Young.
guys around him. It's not
Sure,
him.
he's not Steve Young. He's not even Jeff Garcia. No. Just cool it with the Purdy for MVP stuff.
I mean,
not-
you just. I'm just. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, you got to think there's a lot of pressure on Kyle right now. I mean,
There
how
is.
close he's been in Atlanta, 28-3 last year. A game away with no quarterback, and these teams. You don't get that many shots. I know Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are proving us wrong here, but you don't get this many chances
yes.
at going to the game. And so, it will require a ton of patience on John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's part if they lose again and not make a change. I mean, I don't know how you not
At the
you know,
Kyle
someone's
level,
out
or you think at the QB at the like
No,
they're gonna
like,
have to go get a better.
the QB level. Yeah.
at the
Even
at the
Kyle's safe.
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
Even
At
if
the
they
QB
win,
level.
honestly, even if they
Is
win
he?
and make it to the Super Bowl, right? Like, yeah, Kyle should be. Yeah. Where's he gonna go?
No,
Why would
Who's better? Who are you going to get that's better?
Kyle's in the top 5?
I don't know, but I'm just saying it's a
coaching.
lot of. You made a good point. This is his year. If he doesn't get it done this year, then he has a lot of his resume. Is
Okay, go. You think John Lynch is going to hire Bieniemy?
Hey, Eric Bieniemy. You want to talk about Bieniemy? Apparently, he was secretly interviewed by the Commanders for the.
It wasn't secretly.
Come on, Joe. You know why?
Interviewed. I know why. It's the story of
Bieniemy's
Bieniemy's career.
Interview 2 people now. It's not one.
Yeah, it's the story of his
You
career.
can say Rooney Rule. It's not a hush hush word.
Yeah. Congratulations, Raheem Morris.
Philly's really flirting with Ron Rivera, which I cannot for the life of me understand. Like, I don't know what you saw from Ron Rivera for 5 years that you think he is the answer to your defensive woes, especially at the linebacker position where the Eagles were most leaky, given the crap he's drafted and left behind in DC. But if you're Sirianni, I mean, are you just forget about Rivera for a second? Are you thinking maybe Bieniemy is the way to go here? Do you trade like a 6th-round pick for Bieniemy since he's under contract?
He'll be let go by the new coach anyway.
The better question is, does Ron fulfill the Rooney Rule?
He's a minority.
Yeah, technically he does.
Not just brothers.
It's not.
Yeah, it's all
minorities.
No.
So if I interview and
you would qualify too.
Yeah. I think everyone on this call actually technically qualifies.
We could get an interview.
It depends on what you put
Africa.
on. It depends on what you put on your taxes. You're Caucasian. You're Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
How
maybe
you call
you brought up a good point. You think I'm surprised if the team was going to let Bieniemy go, I think they would have done it by now. I don't know why they would try to.
Why would you? Why would
No.
you now?
From an optics,
Let him go.
from the optics, you don't fire any coaching staff until your head coach is in place.
Yeah, but okay, but
Let the
in
new
what
head coach
universe?
figure that out.
In what universe though is do you bring in a Ben Johnson or a Slowick and then say, yeah, you just oversee everything, but let this guy call the offense?
No, you don't. But if you bring in
happen.
FP's boy Mike McDonald, then you need an offensive guy. Or Vrabel. I don't know if no one's talking about Vrabel. I'm a Vrabel guy.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Vrabel. I think he brings like some energy.
Vrabel was in the weakest division of the league and did nothing with Derrick Henry. Come on,
that's going to be helpful.
I forgot. I got the Derrick Henry leader. Leaders of the
Derrick Henry to the Cowboys. Yes, it's going to happen.
He's going to trade the Cowboys next year.
Yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Or the Vikings. He fixes so many teams immediately.
I mean the Bucks. He fixes the Bucks immediately. He fixes the Packers immediately, right? I mean, you just look at the playoff teams.
Over Aaron Jones, it's a push. He could help the Bills significantly.
Yeah, the Bills can't afford.
They can't.
I think the Bills are, unfortunately. I think their window's closed. That's just my.
But you know whose window should be opening is your Commanders.
Yeah, you want to talk about the potential? Did you see the Mel Kiper story? The first mock draft of the season. It's got your boy Jaden coming out.
I'm much higher on Jaden Daniels over Drake May. Much higher. Heisman winner.
You and I on Sunday, we pinned a guy that watches more college football than anyone I know, and we walked up to him completely like no context whatsoever and said, "You're the Commanders at 2. What are you drafting? Who are you drafting?" And he looked us both and said, "Not a quarterback. These guys aren't it, man. They're not it. These top 3 stink."
I've made the point on the offline chat 100 times. You have to take a QB at 2, primarily because you are not going to get the draft. There is nobody from 3 to 32 that needs to move up to 2. There's no player out there that needs to be taken at 2 where you're going to recoup that draft capital. It's just not there. The Patriots don't have to do it. The Broncos don't have the draft capital to come up there and take one of the guys. So just from a purely value of draft pick standpoint, you have to take somebody. You're not going to trade back. And then you can't overdraft. You can't put yourself in a position where you didn't take one of those QBs. You took a lineman or a receiver, and then suddenly one of those QBs do work out.
Okay. I'm sorry,
you can't do it.
But I'm sorry. That sounds like loser analytics talk. Okay. What does that mean? You can't overdraft. If you don't think, by the way, I was bored yesterday. I watched Jaden Daniels highlights.
Yeah.
He ain't the guy. He ain't the guy.
Thank you.
FP. He ain't the guy. So
there's Caleb.
Oh, I mean, Caleb's not going to be there, but Caleb's also not the guy. And Drake May, we already have on the team. So, listen, what is wrong with overdrafting?
Locked in, baby. Yes,
You-
overdraft an offensive tackle.
You find a left tackle of the future. It's a great pick at 4, but not at 2. Are you kidding me? What's the difference?
Chris
You
Samuels
do realize that
Chris Samuels was the second overall pick. If I'm
you
not
do
mistaken.
realize
He was
that,
3rd because LeVar wanted to be
LeVar-
2nd. They
LeVar
had
was
2 and 3.
you do realize that last year, every single analyst, person, armchair coach said CJ Stroud was not the guy. He didn't have it. Every single person said CJ Stroud didn't have it. He didn't have it on film. He failed his.
They also
test.
thought that Bryce
did
Young
nothing.
was the guy, and
Yeah,
Bryce
they
Young
can be
is gonna
wrong
out of
one
the
year
league.
and right
But
the next.
but that's the point.
He's
is
a
that,
tiny Jamarcus Russell.
But the
Stinks.
point is you have to take the QB.
No, you don't have
because
to.
nobody knows.
Listen,
nobody knows if he's the guy or
first of all,
not
I
until
also
it happens.
I refute this position that nobody wants to trade up to get one of these guys because I'm looking at the draft order. New England is at 3.
Okay, they'll happily take one of the 3 that are
Perhaps,
left to them.
but maybe not. Right? It'll depend on their new coach and what he wants to do. But they need a quarterback.
Okay.
Arizona's stuck with
They're taking
Tyler,
Marvin
right?
Harrison.
Yeah, he's probably going to end up in the desert, and that'll be an interesting place. I'm going to come back to the Chargers because I'm not letting my conspiracy theory go. The Giants have a quarterback under contract. They can cut him, literally sign any of these guys off from the in the draft, and probably be upgraded to that position over Daniel Jones.
They have too many other needs to address.
Not as many, but not as many.
Before cutting a contract already being paid.
Tennessee. You think they're going to roll with Will Levis next
Yes,
season?
he's done enough to at least earn himself one more season.
Okay, possibly. Atlanta. They don't have a freaking quarterback. They don't have a starting quarterback on that roster.
No, but they also have a head
Belichick
coach. They had a head coach who misused Bijan Robinson and everybody else, and you don't know what you can get out of Ritter.
Belichick takes that post. He's not looking to trade up with either his old team or anyone in the top 3 to get a quarterback to solidify the rest of that offense. I think that's
not when you still have a rookie QB in a brand new system. You don't know what you're going to get out of him yet.
The Jets probably aren't going to do it. I'll give you that one because they got Rodgers under contract. Minnesota, if they decide that they don't want to roll with Kirk, they have to get a quarterback. Right?
They're going to roll with Kirk.
Well, I don't think that's guaranteed. I know that they're going to have to pay him.
They're not going to let him go.
Okay, Denver at 12.
They don't have the draft picks to move up.
Why? Because of the fine. Because of the Peyton deal. Fine.
Vegas, and the Russell deal. They just don't have the draft picks.
Vegas, I think, has picks, but I don't know if they would jump that high. Given that I think they're high on Albert. What's his face? Albert Connell. I think is the guy that they drafted. This
Albert Connell was a terrible wide receiver.
I don't remember his name. It's 25 years ago. AC. But then you got New Orleans, Indianapolis, Seattle. Why wouldn't Seattle move up? You think they have endless faith in Geno?
Yeah, I think they have enough in Geno that.
And here's the one.
And they still have Drew Lock.
Okay,
who you are high on for some reason.
I mean, I don't mind him, but here are the. I mean, you also have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 20, perhaps. Right? They could potentially move up, but the two teams
they could
Chargers,
just pick it.
The Chargers, the Jags, and the Bengals all have QBs that could be traded. The Bengals being the backup quarter.
None of them are trading. You don't trade away a franchise quarterback who has proven he can play in this league.
I think
Herbert, Burrow, and Lawrence have proven.
Not Burrow. Who's the donk backup there? I'm blanking on the name all of a sudden. The 4-year starter. Is Jackson something?
The guy with the hot girlfriend.
That one, yes.
Jake Browning.
Yeah, thank you. But look, if you're the Jags, aren't you a little? Aren't you done with Trevor at this point?
No. What has he done?
You're not, Joe. But this exercise is futile. It is futile because if you have a stud, Aiden Hutchinson. At 2, you have a stud defensive end that can change the trajectory of your defense.
I've heard
Trent Williams.
I don't know about that one. I can't do another defensive.
I've heard the story before.
I'm not saying this draft.
No more defensive ends.
I'm just saying you have a stud. It doesn't need to be a skilled position player. At 2, you have a stud. I mean, that's Penei Sewell or whatever that guy's name on the Lions. I was watching him pancake guys all over the field on Sunday. You build these lines up. And you do it the right way. The quarterback, you can't get bullied. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot get bullied into a pick that you are not sure of. I mean, Trent Williams and a stud offensive tackle is a much more sure pick than a quarterback you're taking a flyer on.
12 years later, he's still the best at his position after all these years. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. I don't think you can.
But
This idea that
what
you
happens to
you don't
this
get to draft-
franchise? Listen, what happens to this franchise if you have your brand new GM and your brand new hotshot offensive coordinator or offensive minded head coach come in, say no to one of these 3 QBs, right? You roll with Howell. Howell, look, we know what we have in him. Maybe he doesn't get it done, even though he has a boosted O line and better play calling and all this stuff. And then you look at somebody like the Patriots, or you look at somebody like whatever team is out there that gets one of these guys, and they have a Houston Texans style turnaround. What happens to this franchise when you did it already in 2020 and you took you took a great depth line, build them up right player, and it failed, and you missed out on your QB. And then 4 years later, you do the same thing.
Respectfully, I don't think that's fair because the talent evaluators in the building made bad calls, right? Like, and that happens.
I think we're convoluting the issue at hand here. You have a top 2 pick, and your biggest need is QB. Your biggest need.
So I'll stop you right there. I don't think that's the biggest need on the team.
100% it is.
It doesn't matter. You could put Joe Montana behind this offensive line, and he's not Joe Montana. You could put Patrick Mahomes behind this line.
The Houston Texans changed the conversation because before CJ Stroud, was QB their biggest need? No, because of somebody named Davis Mills, who Joe Hazard thinks is amazing.
I love Davis Mills.
The conversation was
those guys over any of the.
But do you see the point that you're making for me right there? The point is you would take any of those guys, but what the Houston Texans did is they took a chance on a top-rated QB.
But tell me, they already had
and it worked out. They had nothing. They had nothing.
Dameon Pierce, like they drafted.
Dameon Pierce has done absolutely nothing this year, and you keep mentioning him, and I wanted to call you out on it. Go look at Dameon Pierce's number this year compared to last year.
I'm saying going into. I agree with you. He didn't do anything this year.
Okay, so
going into
so then he's not. He can't be used as a point. Okay, my point is the Houston Texans were seen to be a 3 or 4 win team this year. That's why the Bears made the freaking trade with them, because they didn't think anything of it, because it's just going to be another high pick.
Remind me again why you wouldn't want Justin Fields.
Go watch any Bears game.
I watched the game against the Commanders where he threw.
Not against the Commanders defense.
Well, he finished the season on a tear. I would take Justin Fields too. I think you can. I think Peters can come out of this offseason with a much better put together roster. Defer on Sam Howell for 1 more year. I think you're okay. Howell proved that you can win with Howell, right?
I think you're forgetting how many draft picks we have in this draft. So you can still take a QB at 2 and then do everything that Steve has said of building up the line, building up all the positions of need within the draft with proper talent evaluators. I
would rather
proper GM. And then on top of all of that, you still have $90 million in cap space. There is no harm in this year
when they
use that number 2 on a QB.
Before they hired Adam Peters, right? They were talking potentially about interviewing or going after the guy from the Bears. I like that for one reason, because what the Bears did last offseason is exactly what the Commanders should be doing this offseason. Roll the dice, find a willing trade partner, take that crappy team's number 1 next year. So you're guaranteed basically another top 5 pick next year. Roll the dice with what you got at quarterback with Howell, which is what the Bears did with Fields. See if you can upgrade the other positions, which is exactly what the Bears did by getting DJ Moore.
That's what I'm telling you, Joe. There is no team. There's no team that is going to give you that value, because nobody really needs to be in the number 2 this year. No team has to be. There's no
how
dead on team versus team. We both need the same position competition.
Somebody's going to start claiming these quarterbacks to the point where somebody's going to want to leap up and get them. Right?
Last year, sure. This year, no. You're not going to be able to recoup the value of this draft pick. It's just not going to happen. This is the worst draft of all drafts to be number 2 overall.
Yeah, you still want to draft a quarterback instead of taking the best offensive.
Because what do you and I say every year, every draft? Always draft a QB. Always draft a QB.
Not at 2, but yes, I
yes at 2.
Agree with this.
Yes at 2.
Clay Travis philosophy.
You have to do it at 2. Steve said it. You're almost being bullied into it, but you have to do it too.
No, you don't have to do it because then you end up like the stupid the Panthers with a quarterback who's smaller than the three of us.
The hope is you end up like the Texans and you immediately turn the team around.
CJ is 6'7". He's huge. He's not 6'1". He's everyone's going crazy over Drake May is 6'4". Well, Sam Howell's 6'1" on paper. Whatever. No.
CJ Stroud is 6'3". Shut up.
With the cleats, maybe 6'4", maybe. Who knows?
He's 6'3". I just Googled it.
Whatever.
Drake May is 6'4".
I'm done with you.
Around beautiful women, I'm 6'1". Okay, it's all depending on.
I don't have a lot going for me, but a full head of hair and being 6'2".
Are you actually
those are two golden check marks? I'm
actually 6'2".
I'm actually 6'. I'm 6'2" in some.
Oh, okay.
Those are two golden check marks in the dating world.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways I can go with this, but okay, you're right.
I'm keeping my mouth shut. Okay,
we'll discuss it offline at the DTC luncheon tomorrow. We're getting sushi tomorrow. If anybody wants to come out, we can have a fan appreciation day.
I'll have links to Nancy Mace.
Yes, please. I'm gonna look up her body of work in advance. There's a whole IMDb. I'll figure.
Phrasing, Joe.
Okay, Stevie. Final thoughts.
No. What happened to Steve Young, by the way?
I think he was fired from NFL Network.
Was he fired?
Yeah, I think he was too Mormon for them.
I miss that guy.
No.
Wasn't he? He was on. Did he not do Prime for a little bit too Thursday night, or did I?
ESPN just axed him.
ESPN got rid of most of their football talking heads.
Can they get rid of RG3 next, please?
I mean, do you got any thoughts on the? I'm on Team J on this one.
Because Dan Orlovsky's getting all this love. He's just a glorified Steve Young.
I don't remember. Something happened with Steve. I don't remember what it was though. But I think he was on he was on the NFL the Monday
countdown.
Yeah, countdown.
Yeah, countdown.
Yeah, but so was Randy. I don't think Randy's there either. Right? I think
Randy wasn't he on Fox for a little bit after?
Randy went to Fox for a bit. He might be back on NFL.
I don't know. Do you have an opinion on the Jay Gruden the back and forth? Your boy B Mitch got involved too.
RG3 is trash. He's probably going to use this Twitter feud to resurface his tell-all stupid book that doesn't exist.
I was just about to say maybe the Jay maybe he won't ask Jay to write the foreword to the book that he never did.
Any feud with RG3, you must side with the other side. That's just
100%.
like a golden rule of life.
Would you take Jay back as a coach? No. Yeah. Okay. Well said. FP. Final thoughts, buddy.
Pair him up with McLuhan. Final thoughts. We will all see why the Ravens were the number 1 seed, and the AFC matchup this weekend is going to be that's your title card game, right? And the NFC is just going to be.
FP, you're on Ravens and Lions.
Ravens, Lions,
and Stevie, you're on Ravens, Lions.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right, boys. Thank you for hanging out. The show is DTC, available on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast. Just type in Defeating the Curse or DTC. We will pop up. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Until next week, we are out.